Well, hello again. I am here for my third video in which my purpose here is to encourage and lift up believers in these days, which we know are full of last days implications, actions, and happenings. Today, I am going to discuss two things in general. The first is the question of when is a generation a generation. The second is that is September a high watch period, and I don't just mean for the rapture, but I mean a high watch period for tribulation type events. Okay, and that of course encompasses a large number of things. So let's get started. When is a generation a generation? So there are so many wonderful watchers out there that have come up with these wonderful scenarios and dates and speculation on times and seasons. And man, they do so much work and spend so much time. I don't know how they do it. I know that some of it is beyond me as far as time is concerned. And the intricacies of the languages and all the things they go through to get their various speculations are incredible. And the one thing I've learned about the Bible, and you may have learned this too, is that 10 people can read a verse and get 10 different things out of a verse, and they'll all be right. So somehow, I honestly believe that all of our brothers and sisters who have speculated on end times and on the things of God that concern the end times, they all have some truth, and they will all be vindicated eventually. My minor understanding of mathematics and the physical universe leads me to believe that the time as we know it and space and reality as we know it are not the reality that we will know on the other side. So any speculative thing that has to do with time and presence and future and past, we're looking at it from such a small bit of information that we're going to have a hard time coming up with answers about those things. But that's all I'll say about that. I will say this. In Matthew 24:34, and this is where most of our pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib people get their time speculations from. It says, "Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till these things be fulfilled." And of course, here I believe Christ is talking about the return of the Lord, because the apostles ask him, when shall these things take place, and when will be the end of the world? And he's answering this question. When will be the end of the world? The answer is, this generation shall not pass until all these things, he's talking about wars and rumors of wars, diseases, pestilence, all the things he named in Matthew 24, those would not all take place and all be finished and all be wrapped up with the destruction of the world until this generation will still be here. Now, first, most people, I would say 99% of the people, have taken this generation and run with it. And they take their explanation or their calculations of a generation come from Psalm 90:10, where it says, "The length of our days is 70 years or 80 if we have the strength." Now, I jumped on that just like everybody else and said, man, I love it. We can take that and we know how long a generation is. Man, we know. And because we know how long a generation is, we can do some calculations. Because I know how to figure and I know how to add. Right? I read this first when I was a small child. Matter of fact, I read, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but when I was a child, everybody had a Bible in their house. Now, some of those Bibles were gathering a lot of dust, and they were out of the way places, but everybody had a Bible. And our Bible was right on a little stand as you came down the steps. And one day I picked that Bible up. I don't know how old I was, but I was fairly young. And for some reason, I opened it up to the book of Revelation, and I started reading it. And I saw dragons and demons and all sorts of scary things. And I flat shut that thing. It scared me. It scared me to death. And I did go back and read it some. And I do remember as a child reading, anyone who reads these words and take them to heart will be blessed. I didn't think much about it then. But I believe that is why eventually I was saved and I found the Lord. But let's get off of that for a second. When I first read that verse, this generation shall not pass, I think we need to use a principle called Occam's razor. And this is going to upset a lot of you guys. But Occam's razor is a principle whereby if you have a problem, you should use or tend to use the simplest explanation to solve that problem, or use what you know to solve what's unknown. So let's try to eliminate all that we had previously in our heads about this verse, and let's see what the words say. I'm kind of a person that likes to do that. Let's step back from where we are and look at the big picture. This generation shall not pass till these things be fulfilled. Now, I'm sorry, when I read that, that means to me is that these events will not be finished until the last person that was alive, the last person that was alive when Israel became a nation, and that's what we're talking about. When that last person dies, that's when these things will be finished. I don't mean that. I mean sometime between when the first person was born, during that, when Israel became a nation, to the last person that died when Israel became a nation. So we have that time period. Now everybody in Israel, everybody on the earth is not going to live just 80 years. I'm sorry. There's going to be people that live 40 years. There's going to be people that live 20 years. There's going to be people that live 90 years. There might even be somebody that lives 127 years. I think that's about the oldest a person has been, 127, 128. So we may have, in that generation, until the last person passes away. God got it, a timetable. That last person may not pass away for many years. However, the rapture, the tribulation, all could happen many years before that. So what I'm saying is, using the generation definition of 40 or 80 years may not be the panacea that we think it is. Just think about it. I'm not adamant about that. If you have a logic that supersedes that, or something that you think I'm totally off base here, I agree with you. I'm not adamant about it. Of course, none of this is salvation issues, but it is something to think about. Now, the second thing is I believe that this September is a very high watch period for events to be happening. And I've been, well, let me stop for a second. I don't know how many of you know or have listened to Dana Coverstone. And some people have said he's a false prophet because nothing he said came true, which that's obviously not true. A bunch of stuff he said did come true. But not just Dana Coverstone. Many individuals are having dreams and visions. And I tend to look back, like I said, with a long view, step back and look at all the things that I've seen and all the people that have prophesied and all the events that have taken place. And in my estimation, a lot of things that these people are saying are happening. Okay, and they're happening, you can see it, they're happening at an accelerated rate. So I want to focus on Dana just because he's one of the few, and I won't say prophets, but let's say dreamers, that has been giving a timeline for their dreams. Okay, and his second to last dream, you can go look it up, I'm not going to repeat it all here, was given a timeline between May and September. Now, probably I'll make another video and detail all things that happened since May, and it is a lot of things. There are a lot of things that happened since May. And basically the dream was that believers and unbelievers will be running a race, and the believers will be looking up to God for strength, for faith, for encouragement, and unbelievers will be looking to themselves for strength and encouragement, and they'll both be running a race, and they will not be able to see each other, but they'll be running a race, and this race will end in September. Now, you can go listen to that dream and get your own interpretation, but that was my interpretation of it. And so it's not just because Dana dreamed this. There are so many things happening that seem to put Dana's dream into perspective. Now, I'm going to make an aside here. Those individuals that say, well, Dana is a liar because he said that he dreamed that Chinese and Russian troops were going to be on our soil. He also said that I can't say the name, but number 45 was going to be back in the White House. Well, I think he and a whole bunch of other people didn't say, they said he was going to win the election. Well, did he win the election? I'll let you decide. Also, are Russian and Chinese individuals or their way of life and their political aspirations and their ideologies, are they ruling our country now? You tell me. Do we have many politicians here that are beholding to that ideology that those two countries believe in, that are trying to push us toward that ideology? Or have they not landed on our shores and taken over our country, at least temporarily? I'll let you ask that question for yourself or answer it. Well, I'm going to say a couple more things that just have to do with Dana's dream and things leading us up to September. Because like I said, I had a bunch, but these things in particular are leading us toward, I believe, some sort of late August, September, maybe October conflagration. Let's just read this. The escalation of conflicts between Uncle Sam, the bear, and the dragon. We're having almost shooting confrontations on borders, over bodies of water. Dramatic increase of social unrest in many countries. I mean, there are countries on the verge of collapse because of social unrest, because citizens do not want to be forced to do something that they don't want to do, right? And eventually, it's going to happen here. They're going to try to force us to do something that many of us don't want to do, and it's going to cause a lot of upset. The release of UAP info, however limited, didn't matter how much they released, they acknowledged, the government has acknowledged for the first time in 70 years that there is something out there. That's a great acknowledgement. What does it mean for us? It doesn't mean nothing for us, because we know there's something out there, right? We know there's other entities, another existence. We know there are other beings out there. They've been there since we've been here. But the fact that they acknowledge it, that was huge. The things going on in Arizona and Georgia, the choosing investigations, and what has been revealed so far could cause great disruption in our country. And the fact that the MSM is ignoring it, it's like a counter pig, and they're just holding it close, trying to keep everybody out of there, but the fuse is lit. And what's going to happen when the fuse reaches the powder? The obvious politicization of events. Let me go back many, many months. Trump's acquitted of Russia. Maybe I can't say that. I might get taken off. When he's acquitted, the people that accused him never apologized. The papers never printed retractions. The Pulitzer Prizes that were won were never taken back. Now, right in our face, political refugees from Cuba are being warned, guess what? The State Department's warning them, we do not want you here. Amazing. They want everybody else, but they don't want people that are against CUism. Amazing. They're being exposed on a great, in a great way. It's amazing. And of course, many pushing the jab when there are other viable medical alternatives. I mean, there's no need for the jab, but why the hurry for the jab? Well, I don't understand that. They didn't care. They don't care about us eating corn syrup in all the food. They don't care about the foods being fatty and everybody getting fat and being diabetic. They don't care about our lives. They don't care about babies being murdered in the womb. So now they're going to tell us they care about us? Come on. Anyway, that's all I have to say today. I'll come back at some point and fill this back up, some more info if I get enough views. But I do want to give you a word today about trials, because we're going to have some trials, and things are not going to be perfect. Matter of fact, they're going to be tough. There's going to be some tough choices to make in the next few months. But I want to tell you that God is with you. God is with you. I can tell from my own life that God is with me. Even when I make bad decisions, He's still with me. He's still protecting me. I still end up in situations that are better because He's running it. I wrote one thing about that. If we were not going to have trials and tribulations in life, then there would be no need for faith. And as you know, without faith, it is impossible to please God. So God bless you and keep you and raise you up. Keep you sane with everything that's going on now. Keep your family safe. And hold on to the truth. Amen. God bless you.